Broadcasting from the Maximus Aviation Studios from an underground bunker somewhere beneath the city of San Diego, it's the Maximus Aviation Big Boeing Report. And let's face it, if it weren't for bad Boeing news, this boomer would be a greeter at Walmart, not making YouTube videos in his underwear. So get ready, because we have another huge Boeing show for you today. Hell, it's a show so big Maximus even composed his own theme song. So whether you're in the office on the crapper or at home on the throne, sit back, relax, hit that like button, and if you're really brave, subscribe. And now, without further ado, yeah, well, it's a little late for that, Max. Anyway, you know you, love him, and Boeing hates him. Here's Maximus!
Greetings, everybody. Maximus here, and thank you, Leroy, for that wonderful introduction that I completely didn't write for you. How about a big hand for our Big Boeing Show announcer, Leroy Jenkins, and also the Maximus Aviation Orchestra. And thank you all for sitting through that intro, if you did. You know, I really did compose a show theme and paid a band to record it. I just needed an excuse to play it. Unfortunately, I myself didn't sit in on this session, but they did a good job. And maybe if you want to hear the whole 5-minute theme, you can buy me a cup of coffee, links are in the description. And along with a personal video, I'll send you a copy of the song. Alright, enough fooling around, we got a lot of Boeing news to get to. So has the Boeing strike finally come to an end, or is Boeing's latest offer still not good enough? Striking Boeing Machinist Union members will vote on Wednesday, 23 October on a new Boeing contract offer that includes a 35% pay hike over 4 years. The latest offer includes a $7,000 ratification bonus, a reinstated incentive plan, and an enhanced contribution to the workers' 401k retirement plans, including a one-time $5,000 contribution, plus up to 12% in employer contributions. Boeing said they look forward to the union voting on the negotiated proposal, because of course they did. However, there is no guarantee that workers will approve the offer after they overwhelmingly rejected an initial proposal. And the main reason that may still reject Boeing's latest offer is because the new offer does not restore the traditional pension that Boeing took away over 10 years ago, which many machinists have demanded. Union President John Holden told the Seattle Times that we weren't able to achieve that pension reinstatement. He said, "I understand the members want their pensions restored, but Boeing just hasn't moved on that issue." He added, "That's the reason why we're not recommending the offer to our members." So we'll find out on Wednesday, but I'm guessing the union has Boeing between a rock and a Frankenmax, and they're going to reject the latest offer. But if the union rejects Boeing's latest offer, our next story holds a big clue as to what Boeing's next move will be, and frankly, that will be nothing short of an annihilation of Boeing's workforce, especially the union members. Last week, Boeing announced that it was preparing to lay off about 10% of its workforce of 170,000 employees, or about 17,000 workers. But the key question that remains unanswered is, who and where will the layoffs come from? The major layoffs announced last week will all be involuntary, meaning this ain't no pandemic-type deal where everybody gets their stimulus checks and their contracts paid out. The company won't offer financial incentives to employees to voluntarily exit. Or for those of you my age, those employees will be getting their pink slips, their walking papers, and they will be taking the cardboard box walk of shame. But here is where the union carrot comes in before Boeing breaks out the big Ronald Reagan air traffic controllers type stick. According to Boeing's reduction in force plan, members of the Machinist Union will, for now, and that's the key phrase, for now, while negotiations continue, will not be among the 10% of Boeing workers laid off. Managers are expected to finalize their decision on who gets laid off by the end of this month. Then after oversight and compliance reviews between November 13 and November 15, they will give the first wave of affected employees 60-day layoff notices that their jobs will end on January 17. A second phase, if needed to achieve the targeted 10% headcount, will see more layoffs on February 21. Boeing spokesperson Jessica Cowell said Boeing is choosing not to lay off employees on strike at this point, though machinists' layoff could come later. That implies that initially, at least, job cuts will be among the white-collar staff, including engineers and non-union salaried employees at all levels up to vice presidents. And now comes one of my famous howevers. However, not included in the plan are production and maintenance employees at Boeing South Carolina. Likewise excluded are members of the Machinists Union in Portland and Washington State. However, the emphasis there is, quote, not at this time. You see, Boeing's thinking that laying off machinists right now might inflame passions and make the strike more difficult to settle. But if they still refuse to take Boeing's offer that, nobody can refuse, then the blue-collar hatchet will fall, and fall hard. So Boeing is betting on striking workers who temporarily do not have a paycheck, do not want to become unemployed workers who permanently do not have a paycheck. So Boeing is gambling on the fact that union workers don't want to find themselves in the next batch of 17,000 cuts. I gotta say, to some, that probably sounds harsh. However, if you're Boeing, it is the right move at the right time to regain the upper hand on the union. Still, according to the new CEO Kelly Ortberg, the need for layoffs has little to do with the machinist strike. Yeah, okay, Kelly. Instead, he said it's a restructuring designed to address the broader and deeper problems Boeing faces. Also, last week it was announced that due to the strike, not only Boeing's Renton workers are losing their jobs, but their newly acquired Spirit Aerosystems told employees on Friday, 18 October, that it will furlough 700 workers for 21 days as a result of the Boeing strike. The furloughs will affect Spirit Aerosystem employees working on Boeing 767 and 777 wide-body programs. Production of those jets was halted during the strike by more than 33,000 U.S. West Coast factory workers since September 13. The layoffs follow other Spirit efforts to cut costs, including a hiring freeze and travel and overtime restrictions. Spirit Aerosystems also warned that it would have to lay off workers and announce additional furloughs if the strike continues past November. Well, also on Friday, 18 October, the U.S. FAA announced that it will open a new safety investigation into Boeing as it continues to aggressively oversee Boeing after the in-flight emergency in January. The new review will probe issues like risk assessment, quality resource allocation, and adherence to regulatory requirements and is expected to take 3 months. Last week, the NTSB Inspector General criticized the FAA's oversight of Boeing, saying the agency does not have an effective system to oversee Boeing's individual manufacturing facilities. The FAA said it was reviewing Boeing's operational safety processes to ensure they meet FAA requirements and result in timely and accurate safety-related information for FAA use. And they said it was part of our aggressive oversight to ensure Boeing has the right tools to sustain lasting changes. FAA Administrator Mike Whitaker, who has regularly vowed to hold Boeing accountable for safety lapses, said last month that safety culture improvements at Boeing may take 3 to 5 years to put in place. And as if that wasn't bad enough Boeing news for 1 week, probably the most patient Boeing customer on Earth is growing more restless by the day, as Sir Tim Clark, the president of Emirates Airlines, Boeing's largest twin-aisle jet customer, became the first industry leader to openly suggest that Boeing's current financial state has put it on a trajectory to bankruptcy protection, unless it rapidly shores up its equity position. In an email to the Air Current following the latest announced October 11 delay of certification of Boeing's newest widebody, the 777X, Clark said unless Boeing can raise funds soon, he sees an imminent investment downgrade, with Chapter 11 on the horizon. Chapter 11, of course, refers to the U.S. bankruptcy code that offers protection to a business from its creditors while a formal restructuring takes place. And Clark's warning to Boeing didn't go unheeded, as also last week Boeing announced that it could raise as much as $25 billion in shares or debt over 3 years, a move to increase liquidity as the machinist strike and problems continue to mount throughout its aircraft programs. Bank of America aerospace analysts have estimated that Boeing will raise between $10 billion and $15 billion in equity. Bank of America analyst Ron Epstein said, "We expect Boeing to offer equity first, which should shore up the company's balance sheet in the near term, while maintaining the option to later issue equity debt with a lower risk of a credit downgrade. Boeing is trying to shore up its balance sheet as it faces warnings from credit rating agencies that it could lose its investment grade rating." And finally, that brings us back to Sir Tim Clark. Emirates plans to hold a serious conversation with Boeing, they say, in the next 2 months, once again after Boeing pushed back the delivery date for its 777X. Boeing's new CEO Kelly Ortberg, who joined the company in August, said on Friday that the company told airlines it would delay the debut of its 777X until 2026, slipping from an earlier delivery date of 2025. He attributed the delay to challenges in the program development, a pause in flight testing, and strikes by union workers. But Clark says given halt on the 777X with no clear timeline for the restart coupled with strikes entering a fourth week, he said he fails to see how Boeing can make any meaningful forecast for delivery dates. The plane is crucial to Emirates' wide-body fleet. The world's largest long-haul airline has built its fleet on the Boeing 777 and the Airbus A380. But the 777X is long delayed, and of course Airbus has ceased production on the A380. Clark emphasized that Emirates has had to make significant and highly expensive amendments to their fleet programs as a result of Boeing's multiple contractual shortfalls, and they will be having a serious conversation with them over the next couple of months. And Clark's comments echo frustration by other airline chiefs awaiting delivery of the planes amid strong demand for air travel. So how was that for a big Boeing update? Trust me, I had to edit this video down by at least 10 pages simply because I understand YouTubers don't like fluff and prefer red meat, and I always try and skip the fluff. Well, unless I have a really cheesy intro and a theme song I just wrote. But I save those for special occasions. And with that, now it's your turn. So don't forget to like and share. But you know, I won't know until you let me know down below. And as always, for better or worse, yeah, this is Maximus.